Welcome to our 37th annual symposium, now run on Zoom and streamed live on YouTube. No one should accuse us of not being flexible, and I hope, and let me start by saying, I hope that the entire community of the HCl and friends are doing well and keeping safe and healthy in these difficult times. I'm surprised to be doing this online, but I'm choosing to view it as a bit of an experiment of future formats that we could potentially run the symposium in. In fact, we have something like 350 participants registered from all over the world, which is of course much harder to do if you have to physically travel. So that's a benefit of doing this virtually. And we are able to record this stream it live on YouTube. And I think we have a few watchers watching the stream as well. So welcome to all of you, regardless of if you're watching this here in Zoom, live or on this YouTube channel, or if you're watching the recording afterwards. It's a bit interesting and fine experiments, and we'll make do and adapt to what the situation requires of us. As always, I'd like you to tweet about things that you see today and read about the work that we've done. Please use the hashtag HCL or hashtag HCL 2020. And I actually kicked this off this morning when I'm just announcing the YouTube stream. I'm going to hand over the microphone to Mihai Pop to actually formally open the symposium. Mihai is a professor in computer science and at CVCB here at University of Maryland. And he's also the director of UMIACS, who is one of the two main sponsors of the HCL. The UMIACS is the University of Maryland Institute for Advanced Computer Studies, and the other main sponsor is the iSchool, the College of Information Studies. So Mihai, I'll give you the floor to open our symposium.
Thank you, Nicholas. I hope that you can all hear me well.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like even the transcript is updating in real time, which is amazing. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to open the HCL Symposium. I have been to previous HCL Symposia, and I think it's an amazing event that you are putting together. I was just thinking about what I should say beyond that this is amazing. It's incredible what you're doing, and thank you for your leadership in this area. I would say that the few things I wanted to highlight that I assume all of you know, but the human-computer interaction has definitely been a pioneer in using virtual interactions. I know all these approaches at conferences where people are trying to provide telepresence for people who cannot travel for a variety of reasons. And I think that this virtual event, at some level, it's not an unusual thing from that point of view. And I think it's quite telling by the number of people that are participating that you are enabling a broader participation in your community, and that's incredible. I also want to thank you for the pioneering ideas that happened that have come from HCL in advancing the interaction between human and computers. And I think it's particularly timely right now, and you have all probably followed Benjamin's comments both about the value of visualization and data visualization in our world, especially as everybody alluded to their mod to find out where code is going. But also the importance of having humans interact with computers as we shift more of our duty to machines, to algorithms. You and your group and the colleagues in HCL over the years have really pioneered a lot of the ideas that actually drive our society right now, and I'm really excited to hear how this event goes. And I welcome you to the University of Maryland, even virtually. You're still on the network, so that's and the network runs to the center, I think. So you really are in the Reed Center while also virtually. So thank you for inviting me to present, and I look forward to hearing your program today.
Excellent. Thank you, Mihai. So things look a little different this year than it normally does. And if you've looked at the schedule, you may have noticed this already. We're currently in our opening session, and we're going to launch immediately from that into our plenary talk program that goes until around 10:30 or so. Then we'll have a break to give you some time to watch the videos if you haven't already, or read the blog posts, and I'll talk about those in a minute. And at 11 a.m., we'll open our live Q&A breakout rooms. The links for those rooms are on the schedule. Those rooms are there for the different research talks that normally would take place in the afternoon, where each of the authors would, talk for about 15 minutes about some of the work they've done and published or submitted in the HCl over the past year. Instead of this, we have already recorded all of these presentations. They're on YouTube, or they're being placed on YouTube, and there's also a companion blog article about each of these projects that's available also on the schedule. And the opportunity during this breakout session is instead that the chairs will moderate a discussion, and if you are, as a participant, interested in a particular talk or topic, you should join one of those breakout rooms, ask questions, or listen to the discussion. And of course, the heart of the HCl Symposium is to give our students and staff and faculty, of course, as well, but students primarily, the opportunity to present their work and to receive feedback from colleagues, peers, and also from potentially end users and domain experts that may need the work that they've done. So I also wanted to point out what I said earlier about blog posts. This year, we're doing things a little differently, like many other things. Instead of academic-like abstracts that you would get in a booklet that we print and hand to you when you come to the symposium, everything this year, like everything else with the symposium, is digital. And all of these abstracts have now been written up as blog posts on this site, medium.com. So it's a publication on Medium, and it's HCl-at-UMD. We call this blog as Sparks of Innovation, Stories from the HCl at University of Maryland, College Park. We started it approximately a year ago in early stages, where some of our faculty, staff, and students started writing about their research in a popular, approachable way. And we're now going full in on this effort, where the symposium, where all of the research that you will learn about today have been written up in an approachable format that you can find on this website. So I would encourage you to go there, especially during the break between 10:30 and 11 a.m. and look at especially that link that says Symposium 2020, which is a feature page that lists all of the blog posts that are related to the event today. All right, so I have to move on to the next point, which is gratefully acknowledging our sponsors, which make all of the activities in the HCl possible. And this year, we had some amazing efforts from both companies as well as campus organizations. So I'll start in no particular order by acknowledging our corporate sponsors. We have One America, Google, Optimal Solutions Group, Dell, and Adobe, that all generously provided support for the HCl, both for the symposium as well as supporting our activities throughout the entire year. And if you hear someone yelling in the background, that's my 3-year-old, which is one of the beauties of working from home. I also want to acknowledge campus organizations. As I said, University of Maryland Institute for Advanced Computer Studies and the College of Information Studies are the two main partners that support the HCl, but we've also seen support from the Department of Computer Science, the Philip Merrill College of Journalism, and the Applied Research Laboratory for Intelligence and Security, ARLIS. And again, I want to acknowledge and thank them for making our activities possible this year and every year and throughout the year, and not just during the symposium. There's of course, an additional amount of sponsors that have been involved in supporting our research for individual faculty members. And I'm not going to list all of them, but you can see that there's a considerable support from all kinds of funding agencies and non-government organizations as well. So the HCl is clearly a cross-disciplinary and far-reaching research engine. Now I'm getting to the most exciting and fun part of all this, which is highlighting the accomplishments of our staff, students, and faculty throughout the year. I want to start by welcoming the 3 new HCl members that joined over the past year. Naimul Hassan, who's a professor in the iSchool and in the journalism and iSchool. He has a joint appointment. He came from us from University of Mississippi. Yeah, he is one of our plenary speakers. Thank you, Naimul. You saw him waving, perhaps. He will give a plenary talk later this morning. We have Ping Wang, who is a faculty member in the iSchool and has long been a collaborator working on adjacent topics within the iSchool, and we thought it was time to formally recognize his contributions to the HCl, so I'm very pleased to have him here. And finally, we have Carol Williams-Pierce, who also will give a plenary talk. She's a professor in the iSchool. I think she came from SUNY Albany and works on games and education, and you'll learn much more about her work in just half an hour or so. As always, I want to acknowledge and thank Beth Domingo, who has been the main engine, not just for the symposium, but for the entire HCl throughout the year. So Beth is the heart of the HCl. She's there and she organizes and makes things run smoothly. And so I want to certainly and especially thank and acknowledge her here. And I see people clapping, so absolutely. In other news, the conference that never was, CHI 2020, for those of you who are accustomed to the research scientific field of human-computer interaction, you know that CHI is the main conference, the premier conference in this field. And this year we had 14 full papers, which is quite an accomplishment, that were written by HCl authors, so students, staff, and faculty. And I was looking at our records. We actually had 14 last year. We were in the top 8 or top 10 rank in institutions. And I think we're sort of in a similar top 10, top 20 rank of number of full papers at the conference. This is a great accomplishment, seeing that the HCl is a loosely organized group of people that are working on topics on these in this area. And year after year, I'm astounded by our success. I also want to point out that for those of you who are friends of the HCl and in the general DC area, we ran our 2nd annual, or maybe more than annual going forward, we'll see, Alumni Happy Hour. That was in February before the madness started with our outbreak. But we had a good crowd. We went to a restaurant in the DC area and spent some time talking and just reminiscing sometimes about old times in the HCl. So I encourage you, if you are in the DC area, please join next year when we do this, and keep an eye out for those emails from our development staff. In fact, the people on the left here next to Catherine are actually my parents. They happen to be in the area, so they were honorary HCl members for one night. I want to congratulate Emma Dixon, who's a 2nd-year PhD student in the iSchool, for receiving an NSF Graduate Research Fellowship. So these are extremely selective and prestigious fellowships awarded by the National Science Foundation, and it's quite an accomplishment to have her being recognized in this way. In addition, I want to acknowledge Catherine Plaisant, and in particular congratulate her for becoming or receiving the 2020 ACM Lifetime Service Award from the ACM SIG-Chi, which is, of course, I said CHI 2020 was the conference that never happened because of the coronavirus outbreak. We never got to formally have Catherine receive this award at the awards ceremony. But this is quite an accomplishment again, and testament to all the work that Catherine has done for not just the HCIL, but for the greater HCI community. And congratulations to David Weintraub, who was one of just a few final winners of the 2020 National Academy of Education and Spencer Postdoctoral Fellowship. So this is a national award with significant visibility and prestige. Normally every year we also have a travel award, and of course because travel is curtailed at the moment, we're not doing this one, but we have something even better. So Jenny Prees and Ben Schneiderman, who are longtime HCl members, and in fact Ben was of course the founding director for the HCL since 1983, generously offered a donation for PhD students in the HCL. So we call it the Maryland Way Award by Jenny Prees and Ben Schneiderman in recognition of the Maryland Way, which is 7 principles of work that we do in the HCL. How we communicate with others, how we work with stakeholders, how we pick research topics, and how we actually work and celebrate successes. So the award carries a $1,000 prize for an HCIL graduate student, and this award will be given over 5 years, so we'll have 5 of these awards. This year we'll have the first one, and we had some very strong contenders. It was a really difficult task in the awards committee to pick this winner. I want to recognize 2 runners up for the HCIL Maryland Way Award. That's Priya Kumar and Dan Votipka, who both exhibited amazing achievements, not just in research, but also in the way they contribute to the HCIL community. But we have to pick one winner, one person who will receive this $1,000 award, and it's my great pleasure to announce that the winner is Kyung-Yun Lee for the HCL Maryland Way 2020 award, because, and the citation of course is that he embodies the Maryland Way in terms of his research, his camaraderie, and his lab spirit. So Kyung-Yun is not just an accomplished researcher who has done amazing work, he's also the first person to volunteer for events in the HCIL. He's always here to guide new students and to help with events. And we're going to give him an opportunity in the coming time when circumstances allow to talk about his research as well as his approach to fostering a strong and nurturing environment in the HCIL. So please look out for that. Will probably be another Zoom presentation over the summer or fall. So yes, I hope that Ben and Jenny are on the participant list. It's hard to see here, but I want to thank them in particular for their generous donation, because Kyung-Yun, of course, is one beneficiary, but in addition, we'll have 4 additional awards like this in coming years. And I also know that the HCIM program, the master's program that educates HCI professionals, which is sort of a sister entity in the College of Information Studies here at Maryland, received the same kind of donation for them to give out an award. All right, so that's about it for me. In fact, I'm going to put on a different hand in a moment and start the plenary session, but I want to encourage you all to ask questions. And there is an option for asking questions. There should be a button at the bottom of your screen that says Q&A. So if you have questions for any of the plenary talks this morning, you are not going to be able to speak them, but you should be able to type them in the Q&A button. There's a chat button as well, which you can use for general discussions, but please put all your questions in the Q&A. And if you see a question that you particularly want to be asked to the speaker, then give it a like, so it will be upvoted. And then during the moderation, the Q&A part of the plenary, the moderator will read the question aloud, and hopefully will be answered. And that's also true for the breakout sessions after this break in the morning. We're going to use Zoom meetings, which allows you to actually speak them and show your video if you want to. But again, ask questions, because that's the purpose of doing these live Q&A sessions. We want our students to get feedback on their work and to know whether or not their work has real-world implications and how they can improve their work in the future. So please be active. We want to take advantage of the digital medium as much as possible, even if we're not here in person. So I want to close this part of the opening by acknowledging that we have about 130 attendees on the Zoom call at the moment, and it looks like we have about 13 people watching the stream right now. Of course, this is all going to be recorded, so you're going to be able to watch it afterwards. So with that, I think I'll handing it over to Caro, who will start moderating the first part of the session.